It's my really greatest pleasure to welcome everyone here today on this very special occasion of celebrating the installation of the Ziya Gokaslan Professorship in Neurosurgery. The Department of Neurosurgery at Johns Hopkins Medicine is privileged to name Dr. Ali Bydon as the inaugural recipient of the Ziya Gokaslan Professorship in Neurosurgery. This is the highest honor that our faculty can receive from Johns Hopkins Medicine. I want to especially thank Maureen Marsh, Senior Vice President and Secretary of the Board of Trustees of Johns Hopkins University, and Dean Theodore DeWeese for joining us to bestow this great honor on Dr. Bydon. I want to welcome the Bydon family, his wife Carol, their three beautiful sons, Jad, Length, and Ramsey, and his brother, Mo, who escaped from us and is now the new chairman at the University of Chicago after a short stint at Mayo Clinic. We're welcome back home. We are very grateful that you can be with us here, all of you, to celebrate this great moment. I particularly appreciate our neurosurgery board members and longstanding department supporters, George and Mary Nell Berry, who are here with us from Florida. I'd also like to welcome our generous donors and friends who made this professorship possible. Meg Augustine, you'll hear in a moment, is our major donor, and she unfortunately has COVID and is not with us to celebrate in person. But Kenneth Michael and Stella Kennedy, Catherine and Lou Maroon. I'd also like to thank our generous professorship donors who could not join us today, Judy and Peter Kovler, Lawrence and Ellen Max, and the late Florence and Irving Sherman, who've always been great supporters of all our endeavors in the department. It's now my pleasure to officially introduce Dr. Ted DeWeese, the Francis Watt Baker, MD, and Lennox D. Baker, Jr., MD, Dean of the Medical Faculty and CEO of Johns Hopkins Medicine. Dean DeWeese will formally present the professorship to the university.
Thank you, Henry. Good afternoon, everyone. I'll have to apologize up front. I have been a little bit under the weather, so I'll do my very best today. My very best impression of Henry Brem today. But anyway, thank you all for being here with us. It's such a pleasure to see all of you. And it's even more of a pleasure to be able to dedicate the Ziya Gokaslan Professorship in Neurosurgery, someone I have had such long-term relationship and respect for. And really, very importantly, to celebrate its most worthy inaugural recipient, Dr. Ali Bydon. Ali, congratulations to you. Obviously, I want to also say great congratulations to your beautiful family. Of course, your more talented than you wife, Dr. Carol Thackeray, and to your sons. Boys, should be I know you're very proud of both of your parents, and I know your mother usually is a little rung above your dad. Today, it's dad above mom, just today. Then you can move back to the priority setting. So congratulations, boys, you'd be very proud of. Obviously, as Henry noted, I want to extend my thanks and welcome to all of the donors who are here. And I'm sorry I hadn't had the opportunity to meet Mrs. Augustine, who was really a driving force, philanthropic driving force for this particular professorship. And I want to thank her in particular for what she's done. These days, I have to try to find all those very positive things to latch onto, because there's less positive things in the last few months. But this is certainly one of them, professorships. And they are so, and this one in particular, because they honor all of the best parts of this institution, the men and women, the faculty who are in our clinics, in the ORs, in the labs, in the classroom, about the students, alumni now who interact with our faculty and staff, all of our philanthropists who dedicate your time and your intellect and your resources to help us do those things that we do to continue the social contract that Johns Hopkins has with America and with the world to try to improve human health. That's why these things are so very important. And Dr. Bydon happens to, I think, embody all of the best parts of Johns Hopkins. Ali joined the faculty in 2007, and then I have listed here, and I will read them. I'm not sure how much of this is actually real, because there's not one human who could actually do all these things, but I am told that you do these, Ali. He currently serves as the Vice Chair for Strategic Planning for the department, Director of Spinal Outcomes and the Biomechanics Laboratory for the department, Co-Director of the Neurosurgery Medical Student Education Program for the department, and then he happens to be a Professor of Neurosurgery at Johns Hopkins and curing lots of people with complex things. The work that Ali does, patients with really complex spinal disorders, spinal tumors, patients who need really high-end reconstructions of their spine. Ali is one of the most fantastic surgeons. Why do I know that, beyond what Henry tells me? Is because he and I have shared a few patients over the years, and I have talked to many other patients who weren't mine, but have come through Ali's clinic, through the OR, and whose lives have been changed by the technical skill. But I think actually, in many ways, for those of you who don't know him particularly, he's just a lovely human being. And patients who are coming to see him aren't just like, Ted DeWeese, who was running on the weekend and, his disc feels a little bit bad. These are patients who've traveled a really tough road, really complex spinal diseases, who have very complex surgeries and a difficult path to recovery. And he always has approached them as a kind, gentle person who understands that path that got them there. And that these, as the person right there would say, he understands that these are patients with really complex diseases who happen to have a spinal problem. They have families and interactions and friends that are worried about them, not just a spinal problem that happens to have a patient. And I think his ability to do that translates directly into the outcomes that we see and why his reputation is as stellar as it is. And it really does represent, to me at least, the best parts of Johns Hopkins. Ali, on behalf of all those patients, thank you very, very, very much. The reputation of the Department of Neurosurgery is obviously stellar, and you own a good section of that in its history and part of its future because of the impactful research you do, this clinical care. And maybe, I don't know if it's equally important, but it's right up there because you are the role model for all of these trainees that have come through your door, and all of those patients who you'll never know or you'll never see will have benefited directly by you. So thank you for that, Ali. I can only say, given this professorship, you have a lot of things to continue to do here. So we're looking forward to that. I had a few more things to say, but my voice, I can just tell, is about to leave me. So I hope you'll forgive me for foreshortening a little bit, Ali. Because professorships are held and administered by the university, we must formally present them to the university. So with that in mind, I'd love to invite Ms. Maureen Marsh to join me up here. As Dean of the Medical Faculty and CEO of Johns Hopkins Medicine, I formally present to you, Ms. Marsh, on behalf of Johns Hopkins School of Medicine, the Ziya Gokaslan Professorship in Neurosurgery. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dean DeWeese. It's such an honor to be here today. On behalf of the Johns Hopkins University, our distinguished faculty, our extraordinary students, I gratefully accept the Ziya Gokaslan Professorship in Neurosurgery. And I am delighted to join so many family members, friends, and colleagues in honoring you, Dr. Bydon. As we know, those at Johns Hopkins Medicine who hold professorships conduct some of the most significant and high-impact research. Research and the breakthroughs it brings come in no small part from the reliable financial support of endowments. These endowments are truly the foundation on which our success is built. So thank you to everyone who made this professorship a reality. And thank you, Dr. Bydon, for your many contributions to medical research and to patient care, all that you have done and all that you will continue to do well into the future. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, congratulations. And now I invite Dr. Brown back to the podium. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean DeWeese and Maureen Marsh. Really like to express the tremendous gratitude to the donors who are here with us today, both Kenneth Michael and Catherine Maroon, and to Meg Augustine, who unfortunately is, stricken with COVID this week. She's fine, but is out with COVID. And she asked that I read her remarks. And I have to say, she's an extraordinary person. She got to know Dr. Bydon, and it was, incredibly admirer of her, as so many people are, and enormous amount of appreciation for how his work changed her family's life. And she said that she wanted to give back, and she, several years ago now, committed to giving $1 million towards establishing the what now is the Ziya Gokaslan Chair in Ali's honor. She also joined our advisory board. I will say she was the first spine person on our advisory board. It was very biased towards brain before that. Now there are several people who are generous donors in that area. But she's just a quiet, wonderful, supporter of the department, and a great admirer of Dr. Bydon. I'm going to read her remarks for a moment. It was going to be such a pleasure for me to be here this afternoon, to be part of the special celebration of Dr. Ali Bydon's professorship. Unfortunately, I have come down with COVID, which made it impossible. Dr. Bydon's superior contributions to research and the well-being of many of his patients, including myself, is truly remarkable. Hearing about his valuable service to Johns Hopkins and to those it serves, I decided the time was right for me to start contributions to a professorship for Dr. Bydon. So it is with great pleasure that I congratulate Dr. Ali Bydon upon his receipt of the Ziya Gokaslan Professorship in Neurosurgery. Thank you very much. That was Meg Augustine speaking through me. I think this is a very special moment for a very extraordinarily special person, Ali Bydon. And you'll hear a great deal in the next few minutes about just what an extraordinary human being, friend, incredible physician and compassionate physician, an incredibly skilled surgeon and teacher of others, of both inspiring them to surgery and teaching them to be surgeons. But one of the things is that Ali has always, since I first met him, had a profound sense of gratitude and appreciation for people who have in any way been good to him. And I think that's really reflected in the naming of this professorship, because it was Ali's very strong feeling that he owed his career to Ziya Gokaslan and to his both mentorship, role model, and leadership, and said that the greatest honor would be to carry Dr. Gokaslan, his teacher's name. And if you think about just how profound that is and how beautiful that is, that we honor that. I did want to share with you just a moment to explain why, what the legacy, naming the professorship, aside from Ali told me that we had to, which is reason enough. But the history of spine, I mean, we think of, I think of neurosurgery as brain surgery, but the reality is that if you look at the contributions to the field, and by the way, for perspective, in the real world, 90% of what neurosurgeons do is spine surgery. And the hardest end of it, the highest end of it, is done here with the most complex spine surgery being done at Hopkins. But still, the bread and butter of what's done is spine surgery. But if you look back at our foundation at Johns Hopkins, Harvey Cushing is the founder of the field of neurosurgery. He was also a pioneer in treating spine trauma. He was a pioneer in treating psoas abscesses and kyphotic deformities secondary to Pott's disease in the early 1900s. He was a pioneer in treating spinal cord tumors, and he was a pioneer in elective spine surgery for quality of life during his time period at Hopkins. He was succeeded at Hopkins by Walter Dandy, who is the other co-founder of the field of neurosurgery, not just at our hospital. And Walter Dandy was the first to accurately describe and treat lumbar disc disease, herniation. He was a pioneer in the introduction of ventriculography and myelography for spine. And he was a pioneer in demonstrating, of course, the circulation of cerebral spinal fluid. And then Earl Walker, who succeeded. By the way, Walter Dandy served for 24 years as chairman of the neurosurgery department. Earl Walker served for 25 years as chairman of the department. He was a pioneer in thalamocortical tract anatomy, a pioneer of functional anatomy of the spinal cord. He was a pioneer in the treatment of pain and the development of the cordotomy procedure for pain. So the leaders in this department have historically been great leaders in spine surgery. He was succeeded by Don Long, who served for 27 years, which if things keep going with Chayton, I may serve 27 also, but right now I'm at 25. Don Long was, of course, in addition to his work on brain tumors and brain surgery and vascular and pediatrics, he designed the first peripheral nerve stimulator, designed the first implantable spinal cord drug pump. He pioneered the national outcome research studies in low back pain and established the criteria for failed back syndrome. He established the comprehensive spine service in partnership with the Department of Orthopedics in 1982, and he chaired the first guided spinal brain stimulation through FDA stimulator through FDA approval. He was, in the legacy of spine surgery, was really succeeded by Ziya Gokaslan, who was the first Donlin M. Long Professor of Neurosurgery. And Ziya Gokaslan is also, and it is why we're naming this professorship after him, is also one of the founding fathers of spinal neurosurgery. And he established the first comprehensive and largest academic neurosurgical spine center at Johns Hopkins in 2002, where he served from 2002 through 2015. He developed systematic approaches for the total sacrectomies and novel techniques for spinal and pelvic reconstruction, pioneered novel approaches to resect Pancoast tumors, established novel animal models to study pathophysiology of neoplastic and compression of spinal tumors, and pioneered novel approaches and established a classification system of resecting sacral tumors. In addition to that, and possibly more importantly, he trained a cadre of the world's best spine surgeons that are really all over the world. A lot of that he did while he was at Hopkins. Today we honor one of his incredible proteges, Ali Bydon. And this was a glorious moment for me in 2007 when I welcomed Ali to our faculty after completing a spine fellowship with Ziya Gokaslan, and you can see it's in the background of Cushing and Dandy, those other spine surgeons right behind him. Ali's greatest achievement in life was convincing Carol that it would be okay for her to marry him, and they are the most beautiful couple and just amazing people imaginable. They have their three beautiful sons, Jad, Lath, and Ramsey, who here are little, but they're now 14, 13, 11, sitting behind them here. And they, Mo, we had a whole legacy of brothers in neurosurgery, and Mo is a superstar and his family here as well. It's a joy being with them, working with them. You can see that in the department and what Ali in particular brings is a joy to neurosurgery and to work and to his patient care and to all of us. This is when Ali started, and he really hasn't changed during that time. And I would just say that, in addition to his teaching and how many people he's inspired, to me, he's an extraordinary surgeon, and he gets great results. I think there's no one who does better than Dr. Bydon. But the most distinguishing thing is the way he respects and treats his patients. It is awe-inspiring to the point that, it's always instantaneous. It's always, what can I do to help that patient? He goes to people's houses to help them if they're in back pain and they need urgent evaluation. He says, I'll just come to your house and let me examine you and help you. He's goes to hotels when people are from out of town. He does everything he can to be the ultimate, helper, to help people get through this traumatic period in their lives. And his patients love him. His patients have so much gratitude. They go through one of the most terrifying experiences of their lives, and they come out in better shape than when they started, and with gratitude for all that he does. So we are very, very fortunate here to benefit from his vision, from his compassion, from his role modeling of what the ultimate, what a physician at Johns Hopkins should be. And I'd like to invite Dr. Chetan Bedagada to say a few words about Dr. Bydon.
Thank you very much, Dr. Brown. Tremendous honor to be here to honor one of my dearest friends, colleagues, partners, Dr. Ali Bydon. If there's a word I could use to describe Ali, it's selfless. So I first met Ali when he came as an instructor, spine fellow, whatever the term could be. And at the time, I think still hasn't been replicated, we were used to having at least 2 spine instructors because of the volume of work, call, surgeries, clinical burden. Overwhelming. There are no work hour restrictions for instructors that I'm aware of. But if there were, Dr. Bydon would have broken every single one of them. He was the only instructor for that entire year, on call 365, 24/7, never complained. Never complained. Selfless, dedicated, determined, compassionate. Always remember that. And Dr. Bydon, we were fortunate, as Dr. Brown said, to recruit him to stay on faculty. He has been an incredible academician at the level of any in the country. 300 papers, 200 plus presentations, worldwide talks, biomechanics expert, undoubtedly an academician. Surgically, we've heard about it. Treating the most complex spinal disorders, spinal pathologies, incredible patient outcomes. As surgeons, we take care of patients one at a time. The person in front of us. We cannot multitask. That's part of the beauty of what we do, but also part of the challenge. In a lifetime, the most brilliant, most productive surgeon may be able to help a few thousand individuals and their families. The true legacy of a surgeon can be measured in many ways. For Dr. Bydon, I think that legacy is an education, mentorship. I was reading on the program that you've been credited with training 60. I think that number is far too little. I think of myself as a Bydon trainee. There are at least 90 chief residents and fellows that you've trained, and they've gone on to train others. And that is the legacy that this picture depicts. That middle picture was Dr. Bydon a few hours ago, working in the operating room.
Like now.
That was less.
It's like now.
Yeah, that was few hours ago, going to work, taking care of patients, working with our residents like Dr. Azad on the left, pioneering technologies with colleagues like Dr. Witham on the right. That's a surgical legacy that far exceeds the single patient in front of us, and one that endures generations, and one that I know means a lot to Dr. Bydon, as I'm one of those people. But the real legacy is something that Dr. DeWeese, Dr. Brem have already alluded to, and that's the legacy of family. The true enduring impact of Dr. Bydon, Dr. Fakhri, lie in their 3 boys. So delighted, Ali, that you traded Michigan blue for Hopkins blue, and that Laid and Jad and Ramsey are Gilman boys with my 2 sons. And this is the most enduring legacy any of us can have, and I always value the way that you and Carol have invited me to your home, helped me understand how to balance family and life, and showed me that one can truly be a master clinician, academician, teacher, parent, husband, father, friend, brother. Congratulations, Ali. I'd like to call in Dr. Gokaslan next.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. This is an incredibly special afternoon, and it's going to be an incredibly special evening. Let me thank Dr. Badagawa for this wonderful presentation earlier about Dr. Ali Bydon. And I want to go ahead and congratulate Dr. Bydon officially to be the inaugural recipient of Ziya Gokaslan Endowed Professorship in Neurosurgery. I'm having a hard time in saying this because I really never thought in my wildest dreams that there will be a professorship at Johns Hopkins, which will then be named after me, and that professorship then be given to somebody like Dr. Bydon, whom I have had the pleasure and distinct privilege of training here at Johns Hopkins as a superb surgeon, an incredible physician. I cannot be prouder. And so this moment, for many reasons, is extremely, extremely special. I'm going to talk about Dr. Bydon's family in just a moment, a little bit, because they have been very close to us and dear friends. But I want to also recognize the people here who are sitting to my right, Dr. Ted DeWeese, who is the Dean of the Medical Faculty and CEO of Johns Hopkins Medicine, whom I have had the privilege of working with, and we have shared patients when I was a physician here. Then he had been an incredible leader, and no surprise that he is now leading the best institution in North America and the world by any means. And I want to thank Ms. Maureen Welch for being here, representing the Board of Trustees of the university, and we are grateful for that. And Dr. Henry Brem, I have to say a few words about Dr. Brem, who has been an extraordinary leader. I think everybody in this room knows that. He is a very special human being, a brilliant surgeon, scientist, and he truly takes pride in the success of his own faculty, residents, fellows, the people that he has trained over the years. And he has produced more department chairs than any other chair of neurosurgery in North America. And can you believe this? This is the 16th endowed professorship in the Department of Neurosurgery. I don't think that anybody could possibly top that legacy. And as you could imagine, behind a great person like Dr. Brem, always there's a greater woman, Dr. Rachel Brem, who is an incredibly accomplished person in her own right. So Dr. Brem, thanks for giving me the privilege to work under your tutelage, and I am eternally grateful for that. Coming back to Dr. Bydon and Dr. Bydon's family, again, the same is true for Dr. Bydon, who's you have heard so many great things about him. Sure enough, behind him, there is even a greater woman who is sitting right next to him, Dr. Carol Fakhri, who is the director of the Head and Neck Cancer Center, the director of the Head and Neck Surgery and the Otolaryngology Department, Charlie Cummings Professor. I see Dr. Cummings there in the audience in the back there. whom I have had the privilege of working through international, Johns Hopkins International Office. And she also happens to be the Associate Dean of Clinical Affairs, working with Dr. Ted DeWeese and the Dean's Office. And so very, very special person. But that is the reason why actually Dr. Bydon is here, because that's when Dr. Bydon was an instructor here at the end of that period. Dr. Bydon met Dr. Fakhri. And yes, Dr. Brem offered Dr. Bydon a faculty position here, but that's not the real reason why Dr. Bydon is here at Johns Hopkins. And then I also want to recognize their children here, Jad, Late, and Ramsey, who are phenomenally smart, beautiful kids, and I'm sure they're incredibly proud of their parents and their accomplishments. And then right behind that, Dr. Mo Bydon is sitting there. Not only did I have the privilege of working with Dr. Bydon, Dr. Mo Bydon now is going to be the chair of the Department of Neurosurgery at the University of Chicago soon, moving from Mayo Clinic where he is now. And so there are a number of people who made this professorship possible. Meg Augustine, I think Dr. Brem mentioned earlier, that gave the initial big gift to get this all started, but unfortunately she's not here. Dr. Irving Sherman and Florence Sherman, unfortunately, they are no longer with us, but their charitable foundation provided the gift. Catherine and Lou Maroon and Lawrence and Ellen Max and Kenneth Michael, Peter and Judy Collar, and we would like to express our gratitude for them to make this event possible. And let me say a couple of things about Dr. Bydon here. He came as an instructor, was supposed to spend a year with us. I think Dr. Baragawa very nicely articulated what he did. Literally, he was the only fellow that year. He worked 365 days, 7 days a week. He was on call constantly, 24 hours a day. Believe it or not, some other fellows that came after him asked me about the call schedule. Whereas I said, talk to Dr. Bydon, he can tell you about the call schedule. He was a gifted surgeon from day one, and he is an extraordinarily gifted surgeon. And it's no surprise that he happens to be my wife's physician as well. And so, and many of the people who have really provided the funds for this endowed professorship to be established have been Dr. Bydon's patients and have been operated by him and had wonderful results. Before closing here, I just want to recognize my own family. This is such a special occasion. I think there isn't any other professional accolade that I could possibly receive. Standing in this incredible picture in this very historic room where a professorship would be named after me. There is nothing literally could possibly top that. And so I am eternally grateful to everybody in this room for even thinking about me as a possible person to be associated with such a recognition. And I know every single one of my colleagues would be most deserving of this. But I never bring my family to these special occasions. So I have the distinct privilege of having my beautiful wife, Aisha, who's been with me over 40 years now, believe it or not, and our two beautiful children back there, and Erin are here. And so this is an incredibly special moment. And thank you for being there for me. And I think my next responsibility to ask Dr. DeWeese to come to the podium to officially inaugurate this chair and award it to Dr. Ali Bydon. Thank you.
Before I do my last duty here, I should note two things, just for all of everyone here. Just as of not too long ago, I did test negative for the third time for COVID, and I did test negative for influenza. I just want to be really super clear about that. Maureen. So I just went 100% sure. I saw her kind of doing that. You know how it is, you scoot away a little bit. Secondly, Ali, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365. So what the hell was he doing? If you were the fellow, so I'm just anyway, probably more than we should discuss here. Because I know what we were paying him. So Ali, please join me here. Ali, you represent the best of Hopkins, as I've said. You're an outstanding, compassionate physician, skilled researcher and surgeon, great teacher, all done with the focus to improve the lives of not just the person in front of you, but those patients that, again, as I noted, will never see you, never know you, but because of, as Chaith and I both said, all the training you've done. That's what ultimately this is about, and that's why you're the perfect Johns Hopkins physician. So on behalf of the School of Medicine, Ali, I'm pleased to present you this medallion as a symbol of this honor and celebration of your installation as the inaugural recipient of the Ziya Gokaslan Professorship in the Department of Neurosurgery. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Dean Deweese. Dean Deweese, Ms. Marsh, Dr. Brem, Dr. Gokaslan, Dr. Bydon, esteemed Hopkins leaders, colleagues, distinguished guests, friends, family, good afternoon. It is a true honor to stand before you today as I receive the most distinguished recognition of my career, being named the Ziya Gokaslan Endowed Professor. This moment is a culmination of the support and guidance of many remarkable individuals, and I have a deep sense of gratitude to many in this room and elsewhere. First and foremost, allow me to thank Dean Deweese again, whom I've had the privilege of knowing for a long time. Dean Deweese, I want to take a moment to express my deep appreciation for your visionary leadership and your unwavering support of the faculty, especially during this turbulent period in academic medicine. Your commitment to our mission, our tripartite mission, and your ability to lead with decisiveness, clarity, and purpose gives me and others confidence. Your leadership inspires optimism and a sense of stability. I believe that under your guidance, we will navigate through these rough waters and emerge stronger. I'd like to extend my heartfelt thanks to both Henry and Ziya. Each have played pivotal roles in my academic and personal life. After completing my chief residency at Henry Ford, I spent a year as Ziya's only fellow, as you've heard. The original plan was to learn from his expertise and then return to Detroit. But as I became more immersed in the culture of Hopkins and specifically the Department of Neurosurgery, that plan evolved. I found myself surrounded by thought leaders in neuro-oncology, Henry Brem, Chetan Bydon, Gary Gallia, pediatric neurosurgery, George Jallo, Ben Carson, vascular neurosurgery, Rafael Tamargo, Judy Wong, peripheral neurosurgery, Jim Campbell, Alan Balsberg, and the consummate neurosurgeon, John Weingart, with expertise far across the breadth of the field, and of course, in spine with the one and only Dr. Ziya Gokaslan. Henry's leadership and genius brought together the brightest minds in neurosurgery, fostering an environment where research, education, and patient care flourished. For spine surgery in particular, Dr. Gokaslan was a true inspiration to my generation of neurosurgeons. He was celebrated at national meetings with his daring and awe-inspiring operations adorning the front covers of leading neurosurgical journals, photo documented by the brilliant Ian Sook and his landmark illustrations. Being Ziya's sole fellow for a whole year gave me an incredible exposure to him as a mentor, as a surgeon, and as a person. Ziya exemplifies what it means to be a physician. He's kind, warm, engaging, caring, generous with his time and knowledge, and exceptionally unmatched technical skill. When I first got here, he told me, Ali, by the time you're done, you're going to know how to put a screw anywhere in the spine. I was like, wow. It wasn't long after that, I was able to put a screw anywhere in the spine. Places I never even thought you could put a screw. Ziya and Aisha opened their home and hearts to me and my family, and I'm deeply honored to carry his name and legacy at Hopkins and beyond. If it weren't for you, Ziya, my professional trajectory would have been vastly different. Those in the audience will attest to Ziya's national neurosurgical involvement, which required a tremendous amount of travel in the pre-Zoom era. Ziya was a fixture at many neurosurgical and spine academic meetings. In fact, one day, after he finished an operation where he was taking up a massive tumor with Dr. Shuba, Ziya caught a flight and he had to go to our national meeting taking place in San Diego, and where he was the plenary speaker. When he arrived to the hotel in San Diego at the national meeting, he found himself alone without the usual 1,500 neurosurgeons that are usually there. He called his executive assistant and he said, "What happened?" She said, "Sorry, you should be in Boston, not San Diego." Now, I, Dan Shuba, Jean-Paul Walensky would have absolutely freaked out. Ziya apologized for her because he had overstressed the system. That was Ziya with his nice, kind demeanor. And this woman continued to work for him forever. I think ever since she would give him a package, but he would check it to make sure he's going to the right city. While Ziya was the reason I came to Johns Hopkins 19 years ago, it was Henry Brem who kept me here and continues to keep me here. Henry, your leadership is unique. Your ability to support, promote, guide, and nurture is infectious. Thank you for the mentorship, friendship, and wisdom. You make every faculty feel valued. We all feel like family. Both you and Rachel have embraced us through our highs and lows, at weddings, funerals, and all the moments in between. Henry's genius is very analogous to an iPhone. Let me say that again. Henry's genius is very analogous of the iPhone that you have in your pocket, which knows more about you than you know about yourself. It's that phone that tells you it's time to go here, time to go there. Or you think of a thought, then you grab your phone and you see an advertisement about that thought, and you say, how could it be? That is Henry Brem, his ability to predict emotions and act on it. He knows when you're upset without you telling him. He knows what the concerns are, and he cannot go to sleep until he does his best to alleviate those concerns. And when you're happy, he always shares and amplifies your joyous moments. I must admit that it took me a while to understand and appreciate Henry's mentorship style. It's very unique, I have to be very honest. During our biannual meetings, and we have a lot of meetings, I learned that he sought a balanced approach. The years when my clinical productivity was off the charts, I would meet with him very proud of my numbers, and he would talk to me about research. Ali, science is what drives the world. Science, Ali, we need papers. Next year, I would come to him with an astronomical number of papers. A lot of meetings that I've gone to, spreading all over the world, and would say, what about the aura, Ali? That's where magic happens. Don't neglect the operating room. With his guidance, I learned how to strike that balance between the two. Henry, I extend to you my profound and most sincere thank you for your support, friendship, wisdom, and mentorship over 20 years. This award would not have been possible without the generosity of Ms. Meg Augustine, Mr. Kenneth Michael sitting right there, who has been showering my laboratory for over a decade and a half with a lot of gifts and money that allowed us to produce over 260 papers. Ms. Catherine Maroon, Mr. Peter Kovler, Mr. Larry Max, and the Sherman Estate. I'm forever indebted to each one of you. It's a great privilege that you've entrusted me with your health and the care of your loved ones over the many years. Thank you for your trust, your loyalty, and your philanthropy. Today would not be possible, and I have to mention this, without Emily Green's tenacity and her enthusiasm to realize the vision of the Ziya Gokaslan Professor. I am deeply grateful to my colleagues and friends here at Hopkins, Dr. Timothy Witham, my first friend at Hopkins. Tim, your friendship, surgical insight, academic curiosity, and good humor have been a constant source of joy and comfort for me. Dr. Nick Theodore, a force of his own right, a dear friend and a confidant whose warmth, innovation, and talent continue to inspire me and take our field forward. Dr. Cal Kibash, Dr. Lee Riley, your friendship and collaboration over the years have benefited our department, our faculty, our trainees, and our patients. Dr. Daniel Lebelsky, whose enthusiasm, vigor, tremendous contribution to our field. And my partners for the longest time, Dr. Daniel Shuba and Dr. Jean-Paul Walensky, who have gone on to spread the Ziya Gokaslan way at other institutions. To my colleagues and friends in the department and across the school, in the audience, it is a privilege to have worked with you and continue to work with you. You've shaped my career in many ways. You are the essence of this great Johns Hopkins. Above all, I owe everything to my family, to my best friend and wife, Carol Fakhri, whose contributions to the field of head and neck cancer have shifted paradigms, clinical paradigms, nationally and internationally. Carol, your support, tolerance, unconditional love have been the foundation of our marriage and household. To my children, Jad, Laith, and Ramsey, who told me not to make this too long, Daddy, please finish quickly. People want to go to dinner. I struggle to understand their generation, some of their lingo, but I will keep on making them proud by finding out exactly what they're up to. I'm very proud of you boys and your upbringing. I am also incredibly grateful to my brother, Mohammed Bydon, whose support and guidance have been invaluable to me. Mohammed has carried the Hopkins legacy after he graduated from here, proudly, and forged an outstanding neurosurgical career at the Mayo Clinic with national and international prominence. Dean Deweese, you'll be happy to know that patients would come to me and would say, "Are you Dr. Mohammed?" And I'd say, "Yes." Sit down. I never said no. I knew the importance of getting those patients here. There would be, I always would say, "Absolutely, sit down." I think for a while they thought my name was Muhammad Ali. They had no idea. I am delighted to announce that in few weeks, my brother, from the same mother, mind you, everybody, will assume the chairmanship of the Department of Neurosurgery at the storied University of Chicago, the first Bydon, hopefully not the last, to attain a chairmanship. To the trainees, current, former residents, and fellows, I'm looking at my residents here. They're wearing T-shirts with my picture on it. That's unbelievable. Thank you for everything that you do. Your insatiable curiosity, hard work, and passion for knowledge are a constant reminder of why we do this work. You absolutely inspire me endlessly. To my team, Laura Blanchfield, Corey Beinacker, Nicole Matthews, Kimiata Ricks, you are the bedrock of my spine practice, of our spine practice. Your professionalism, commitment to patient care elevates the patient experience. Without you, we could not have this practice. I'm indebted to our administrative team for their support and incredible commitment to the institution. Christy Dixon, Ted Albon, Sarah Rummel, Alyssa Berge have played instrumental roles in my development here at Hopkins. You've always provided me with clarity and valued advice. Sometimes the math really didn't add up. I have to be honest, Dr. Deweese. Sometimes the math did not add up. But I quickly learned that 1 + 1 at Hopkins may not equal 2. You made me appreciate terms and phrases that I never knew. Not in the budget. I never knew what that meant. I still don't know what that means. What gift account? No financial clearance. You're a hero today. Boy, when they first told me that, I thought I was really, and I found out that's a bad thing. And other terminology that our administrative team, but in all seriousness, a big thank you to our administrators for the incredible commitment to the Hopkins mission. Finally, Ziya, as you look behind you on this full room, full of people who have gathered from places far, friends, neurosurgeons, physicians, who have come from near and far to celebrate you and your legacy and your impact on them. You need to know that you have left an indelible mark on generations of neurosurgeons and people. We carry your lessons with us, as Chetan said this morning, in the operating room and in life. And I had written this, Chetan, before you gave your speech. We carry Ziya's lessons with us in the operating room and in life, striving every day to emulate the example that you have set for us. Ziya, I am humbled and honored to be named from today forward the inaugural Ziya Gokaslan Professor of Neurosurgery. Thank you.
Beautiful, Ali or Mohammed, whoever you are. Whoever you're going by today. That's right. It brings in the cases, it's the right thing. No, I'll say, it's very moving to me to hear both of you and to this whole ceremony. This year, when we were interviewing residents, medical students for the residency, I guess word was out, what changes were going on in the department, and a lot of the medical students sort of reversed things on me. Instead of me asking them questions, many of the students said, Dr. Brem, what are you proudest of? What when you look back, is your greatest accomplishment? And my answer was consistently, it's the people. It's the people that I've had the privilege of admiring, being in awe of, and have watched evolve and grow and do great things. And it's the people who've stayed with us, the people who've gone on to other institutions and other places and done great things and inspired yet another generation of people. There's nothing in the operating room, in the laboratory, that compares to the incredible awe and gratitude that I have for my friends and for the people in this room who've so impacted on me personally and on the field. And I will say that, there are many different styles of leadership, and there's, one that the person who leads needs to be the smartest person in the room and all of that. For me, it's always been the opposite. I've been so privileged to attract people who in so many ways are better, smarter, more skilled. My first major recruit, as you've heard today throughout the day at Grand Rounds as well, was transformative, was Ziya Gokaslan. And that transformed our department, and that just led to that model of just great people working here, doing great work, and doing it with joy, doing it with happiness, doing it with respect. And, all I can say is that it's been the greatest privilege for me to watch that and just help, see that continue to grow. And Ali, this day is for you. It's been long awaited. You and I have talked about it over the years. You've been so deserving. You are, the phrase that I always get in trouble for saying, but an unsung hero. You very quietly, in your very quiet way, sort of behind the scenes, but everybody sees it. You just do the work, you do the great things that change people's lives, and you do it with modesty and humility and great skill. And I think everybody learns from you. Everybody constantly sees you as a role model. And this is a great honor that is very well deserved and long in coming. And I'm thrilled that I'm here to share this great moment with you. Thank you all very much.